So I'm recording, and I'm here with Shane Pearson from Design Your Life Coaching. I'm having to remind myself of your company name, but we'll drop that in the comments afterwards, Shane. So welcome to Coaching Presence. And you were just telling me about a technique that you think people might find useful at the moment. So please tell me more.
Okay, so it's basically I call it presencing technique, and it's part of my go-to for coaching presence. So when you think of your business name or your Facebook name, it seems very appropriate. But I'm finding that this technique is it helps us come right back into our bodies, into the moment, and under the current situation. I'm using it with all my clients, all my groups, and I think it's very useful, especially for coaches, to help themselves kind of just come back into a more grounded, centered, calm place of clarity and focus, and also then to be able to quickly guide clients into it. If you're finding that your client is what I call upregulated, a little bit heady or a little bit worried, stressed, anxious, or just finding it hard to focus.
Can you tell me about that term, upregulated?
Yes. So thank you. I have a background in stress management. So when we think about stress, so what's going on right now from my perspective is that the whole world has been turned upside down with the virus, and there's a lot of uncertainty and change, adaptation. So our body's stress response is kicking in. And so what I mean by upregulated is that most of us are at least a little bit more upregulated in terms of our nervous system. So our stress response, our fight, flight, or freeze response is a little bit turned on, or could be a lot turned on. If it's a little bit turned on, we might be finding it a bit scattered, a little bit hard to focus. If it's more so, it could be stress, and anxiety would be an extreme end of it. So what the presencing does, it kind of just resets and brings us back into the normal neutral state that our bodies like to be in. And we can deal with stress very well in the short term, but if it stays switched on or upregulated for long periods, it gets to be a problem.
It sounds just what I need right now. I've been speaking to people all over the world. I work with clients all over the world, and this sense of about living through a disaster movie is kind of this. It feels like a creeping dread. So I'm finding it hard as a coach to stay focused and to stay in my presence. So I'm really looking forward to learning this from you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's quick. So people may already have tools. It's maybe another one they can use, or if it's new to them, I hope it's very valuable.
Thank you.
So would you like to be my guinea pig, Mariana?
I'd
and
love
on
to be
behalf of the group, whoever's listening or doing this, I will invite anybody who's listening to just do it with us. And we'll all do it together. I'll do it and guide Mariana through it. And if you can, wherever you are, just do it with us. Because it's really about you noticing the difference between where you are now and where you will be after the quick technique.
Just 20% of the world's currently experiencing a lockdown. So we shouldn't be out driving or anything, but obviously, just make sure that you're in a safe
point.
space to do this.
If you can, close the door. Although this is the wonderful thing about presencing, you don't have to be in a meditative cocoon. We can be in chaos and try and center ourselves within it. So it's particularly we have distractions, when we don't have perhaps sacred spaces or safe spaces to go to in terms of not being interrupted.
And the one interruption that the two of us are experiencing is, and just apologies to anybody else watching, but I think this is because everyone's in housefuls of people using working from home. So there's a slight, some of the connections slightly going, but we're just going to run with it for now, because we're all in this together.
Yeah, we're in this together. And that is another great, great way to help us downregulate. So are you ready to do this, Mariana?
I am.
You're very brave. Thank you. Okay, so really all you have to do is to, if you want, close your eyes. And if you don't have to, but it really helps sometimes to shut off some of that sensory awareness. And what I want you to do is first to become aware of the breath and notice it coming into your body through the nose. And notice it coming out through your nose. And again, just observe and notice the sensations of the breath coming in through the nose and aware of the breath as it leaves the body through your nose. And now you can say to yourself after me, I am aware of the sensations in my head. I am aware of the sensations in my throat. Just quietly to yourself internally. Good. I am aware of the sensations in my chest. Becoming aware of the sensations. I am aware of the sensations in my belly. Becoming aware. Of the sensations in my pelvis. I am aware of the sensations in my legs, upper legs, lower legs. I am aware of the sensations in my feet. I am aware of the sensations in my toes. And then I want you now to expand your awareness all the way from your toes, all the way back up. So you're aware now of your whole body. Present and aware of your whole body right now in this moment. And now I want you to expand your awareness. So it's awareness of the whole body and something outside, to the sound of my voice. Bringing in the awareness of the room, the air, anything around you, other sounds, perhaps the light or the darkness or the heat or the cold, just becoming aware of sensations outside and inside the body. Intention is to be present and aware now in this moment. And just let me check in with you. Now, it's a beautiful smile there. I don't know what's changed, but would you like to describe what you're experiencing now, and especially in relation to where you were before?
I was actually, my daughter's practicing piano in the background, so I'm just enjoying that sound and the sort of peaceful sound of a quiet house with a bit of piano playing.
Good. And just check in with your body. What's going on there? No, I mean, don't know some specific, but just your internal state as well as the external thing.
I'm just very aware of how I'm sitting on my seat and how my feet are on the floor.
Okay. And what are you noticing in terms of the upregulation, the way we were on coming into the call?
It's less. I can still feel something going on in my heart. I still feel a slight skittiness.
Okay, good. So a natural following on to the presencing technique is to, meet what is there. So would you be willing to go into a bit of releasing or to give that a go? Because, every time I do this in the last week or so, there's stuff waiting for us when we come into our bodies. It's one of the reasons we're up in our heads. So again, okay, now that you've done your presencing, did you find you became present and aware?
Definitely. Yeah.
So now you've done it. The skill is getting back there over and over and over. So quickly now, I want you, not quickly, but in your own time, breathing to the count of 6 into your belly. And then out for the count of 6. Breathing into the belly, the lower belly. So we're going to kind of keep your awareness of the breath down there. That's a great way to stay in presence. And now, can I check in with you? Do you feel like that presence is capital P, we call it?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you just stay there for me? Stay in present, breathing from your belly. From that present aware state, the attitude here is that you are now the gracious host, Mariana, and you welcome everybody to your door. You welcome all experiences, all feelings, and all sensations to your door. And how you meet everybody is with, welcome, welcome, regardless of who you are. And then we're going to say, I see you and accept. I accept you to whatever's present. meeting these parts, these aspects of ourselves. So back into presence. Do it for me quickly. So you're breathing into the belly, nice and relaxed, just kind of dropping into the belly, dropping into the body, dropping down into the lower belly, breathing from there. And from presence, welcome back, or welcome anything that's going on, and just scan your body and tell me more about. You mentioned earlier on there was something in your heart or on your heart.
Yeah, it's a sort of a skitty feeling, a kind of
a skitty feeling.
Yeah, and I noticed the thought of welcoming it made me feel more skitty. It was a sort of anxiety about welcoming.
Okay, good. So this is perhaps why we haven't already integrated the experience. Okay, the skitty feeling. So I think just below the screen there, I could see kind of hand movement. That energy moving, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of, I can really feel where the skittiness is, and it, yeah.
Okay, so the thing to remember here is that if we're not in that state of presence, not really grounded, not really calm, not really feeling in our power moment, then now that can kind of start running us and running the show rather than us kind of meeting that consciously. So how confident do you feel at the presence in being able to get into presence and just being able to sit there, and from there just get to know this skitty feeling a little bit better?
Pretty confident.
Okay.
And but as I say that, I'm feeling quite anxious again. It's it's kind of, as soon as I prepare for it.
So this is good, because we will meet resistance, and you'll meet this with yourself and with your clients. So remember that regardless of whether we pay attention to it or not, it's present in your experience. There can be a temptation to distract ourselves and not deal with it. So you have a 10-year-old okay. So if you ignore a child and they come and they're tugging at your
they get louder.
Louder. Okay, good. And do they just go away? You go, oh,
No, there's normally a door slammed at some point.
Okay. And when they're younger kids, they don't even slam the door. They just, pull harder. So we can try and push away discomfort. We can try and push away these anxiety and uncertainty. But another approach is to go, we become that parent. We become that ever understanding, what would I say? The super mom. We go, you're giving that. Here's the other thing. Have you ever given your child, they're kind of vying for your attention, your complete attention? You stopped and you went down on your knees and you looked him in the eye. Now you have my full attention. What is it that you want? And what happens then?
That's it. It's, you've responded, and then they're happy.
And they're happy. Okay. So that's generally what happens with these skitty energies, what you're experiencing, these kind of a lot of these uncertainty, because they're perceptions that we're creating in our mind rather than a real threat. And that's the whole danger here. So how about now, with that in mind, do you feel like that would be worth a try?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now, Mariana, I want you to drop with me back into presence. The breath is a great vehicle, so we can become aware of the breath. Nice to pull us down into the belly, breathing from the belly, aware of the body. And if you're there now, good. Okay, from presence and awareness, being that super mom, being that gracious host, we're now going to welcome once more the skitty feeling in your heart. And I want you to stay present and just observe it and bring all of your attention to it. You go, I see you. I accept you. Staying present, breathing down into the belly. And just observe what happens when you say, I see you. I accept you. Does that skitty feeling want to change, or is it changing?
Yeah, it is changing.
Okay, so just observe from presence. Or do you want to share?
It's really strange. I can almost I feel a kind of a release, but a slight kind of a tingling under my armpits, almost like a kind of like.
Okay. So from presence back into present, back into your belly. Really pay attention. Really give it all. If it says, I see you, and if sometimes it moves around, and we can say, that tingling around your arms. I see you. I accept you. And noticing, just like we're just observing, we're that super mom, we're that gracious host, observing what our guest has to say, or if they're ready to leave. We observe that.
There's a lowering of energy now. It's a kind of sinking down into my belly. Yeah.
Good,
and actually I noticed tears.
Okay, good. Well done. Thank you. Yeah, it's often a little bit emotions wrapped up with that.
Yeah.
So stay with it. I want you to just dropping down into your belly. So usually it often wants to leave us, and just follow that energy. Observe. I see you. I accept you. Attitude. From presence, we're just noticing as it drops down. What happens next? Does it want to come out?
Well, my toes have gone very wiggly.
Is there a process happening? Basically, is it in process or is it kind of stopped?
No, I think it's stopped. It feels like it's kind of, that's part of me. It's kind of put to bed for now. That's okay. It's a kind of, it's a normal feeling in times like this to feel like that. It's fine.
That's fine. Okay, yeah. Good. So it sounds to me like you've done a really good job out there of accepting and integrating it.
Yeah.
Sometimes these energies have something to say. And sometimes we need to have a little bit of a dialogue with them and give it a voice and say, and perhaps there's like, there's aspects of us, I'm really afraid right now. And we can talk, like the parent, we can talk to that and reassure it or make a plan, or sometimes we need to take action. But a lot of it, what we're in the current situation, especially, a lot of this is just checking in, going into presence, meeting what is there, and then noticing the internal state afterwards.
Yeah, there's a physiological change in me. I'm swallowing. It's actually, I've got horses, and when horses release after they've been in a stressful situation, they lick and chew, and I'm doing it. I'm noticing I'm swallowing. Yeah. Your
inner horse is coming to the fore.
Yes, absolutely.
Your totem, your power animal.
Yeah.
Okay, so this physiological response. And you mentioned that in the metaphor, the analogy there with the horses, after they do what?
When they've experienced a stressful situation, when they kind of afterwards. They kind of lick and chew. It's a note, and they quite often snort as well. It's a kind of a release.
Okay, that's why we call it the releasing technique. It's just we're trying to release the energy, the trap. Just think of it as an experience we all went through an upheaval and are going through. But if we don't process it in the moment, it kind of can hang around. So we'll bring our conscious awareness and our presence, the power of now, you could say, to that. And usually it just wants to move around, and it's accepted and integrated. And it allows us to get on with being more functional human beings. And you're kind of giving me, sometimes people burp, sometimes people, their stomach
actually, my ears have just popped.
Wow. So to put it really simply, usually is better out than in is the motto,
Yeah, how funny.
Okay, and you're not okay. So
I'm not on a plane. I can assure you.
You're not on the plane. It doesn't look like it. So, do you notice what would be is this valuable? Tell your reader, tell the viewers what you notice. What's the experience?
So, the presencing, absolutely, and I've done some work on that before. And the release is interesting because I can track the physiological release. And actually, there was a bit of an emotional, the tears came. It's still there. The skitteriness isn't there, but it feels like it's part of me. It's just sometimes needs to come up to give me a sign that something else is going on. It's an indicator of how I'm feeling. So it's funny that before I felt quite anxious at the thought of addressing it. I don't feel that anymore. In fact, I feel the skitteriness is now, I'm labeling it an excitement about the possibility for it. That it's it's part of me, and it's giving clues as to what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So really, I suppose in the bigger picture here was we're tapping you really more into the wisdom of your body. The body's going through this with your mind. The mind tend to spin off and go into solution mode and try and solve problems and
plan
and make plans and looking for that mental reassurance. But the body might be going, I need reassurance too. I need some attention too. Or maybe it has some wisdom to offer. Maybe it will remind you of how resilient you really are and what you've been through before. There is a great wisdom and depth to that wisdom in the body. And when we're stuck in our heads, we can lose access to that. Also for the coaches, what's going on there?
It's just a need to stretch.
Okay, good. And I suppose that's the body wisdom, letting it stretch.
I'm just going to pause you a second just for people watching. Shane is fantastic at this work. I'm somebody that lives in about this part of my head normally, and I like planning and thinking things through without actually doing. And Shane's worked with me before on getting out of my head and into my body, and it's certainly an exciting journey to be on for someone like me that doesn't do it naturally.
It's the only place we will ever have to live.
Yes,
this body. So, and sometimes there's a reluctance in really coming down fully into our bodies and taking on the responsibility of a body. So, but it is better to have the mind body aligned and integrated. Otherwise, in coaching, we know that people don't follow through and do all sorts of incongruent behaviors.
Yeah.
Okay, so. What I will say is there are follow-ons, like for me to be really thorough, if you're working with you as a client, I'd probably chase down the wiggly toes and see if anything else needs our attention.
Yeah.
But from a very simple exercise that people can all learn to do this and just release energy and integrate energy, and then the body can really let go of tension, etc. I think that's right.
Absolutely. And hopefully, Shane, you'll come back and share a bit more another day.
I'd be very happy to.
I'm going to pause the recording now, if that's a good place to end for you.
Yeah, and just let people know that I will be posting this how-to guide on my website, and we'll drop it in the comment box.
We'll put all the information in the comment box. Absolutely. Yeah. Stay with me, Shane. I'm just going to end the recording.
Okay.